Sounds like this would be an expensive proposition then.
My cousin went a week without eating. Yes, pretty weary.
Throughout the conversation, he confers with the old woman in the wagon, who you never see. She never comes out. She doesn't speak to any of you directly. And when they speak, they always speak in their native tongue together. He seems jovial and willing to carry a conversation wherever it can go. And he breaks bread with you.
I'm going to ask... I have a couple of questions for him if he'll answer them.
Okay.
So this language thing has become a problem. You said you've come through the mists from other lands. If we were to travel, could our dialect of... This dialect that we speak, how far will it take us? And like, even if we don't travel now and we go to that city up north, do they speak a similar language? Are we just going to be...
You helped me repair my wagon, so I'm inclined to be helpful in return. The language of the Fey folk, it's good that you chanced upon me before you tried it on another. Those here who know of it would not deign to hear it.
And then in Dwarvish, in ancient Dwarvish, I'll say, what about this language?
And he doesn't understand that one.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Is he willing to teach us any of his tongue? The one that he's speaking with the old woman?
It would take too long.
He tells you that if he did teach you, it would not take. It is a very old language that belongs to his people.
Something magical about it that prevents people from learning it?
He tells you that you carry your treasures and we carry ours.
That's very interesting. The magic in this world is very strange.
What about these villages that you trade with? Do they speak your language or another one?
They speak all manner of languages, depending on the village.
What's the common trade tongue in this world? And is it the same trade tongue in the other world you transfer to?
He tells you that if you were to go to follow the road north to the village of Magrir's folk, that the predominant language would be Darkhanese.
Darkhanese?
I take it none of you speak Darkhanese.
No.
He offers to teach you a few helpful words, basic greetings and questions and things, how to introduce oneself and how to not give insults.
Is this COD? Because I normally hate COD, but this is amazing. And secondly, are people usually offended if you talk directly into their head?
I would be.
To be fair, it's Victor. He's very offensive.
He said that he wouldn't take offense, but he can only speak for himself.
Evie's willing to learn some of this language.
We would be appreciative if you would teach us some common words of courtesy.
Let's get an intelligence check from each of you.
Oh, that's my favorite stat. 18 from Evie.
18?
Yes, I guess Genie does
17.
not.
17?
Genie just doesn't have an ear for languages.
So what did Victor get?
Victor got a 13, and if that's a fail, I'm going to use the psionic dice.
Yeah, use the psionic dice, because that's a fail. And Edmond got, what, a 7?
I got a 5, so don't feel bad, Edmund. I rolled a 1.
18 total.
So Victor and Evie, you got, what, a 17?
I got an 18.
An 18.
Because
I got a 17.
I rolled a 19, and my intelligence modifier is -1. Because Evie's very smart.
Victor, Ekon, and Evie. He teaches you just enough Darkhanese to introduce yourself, basic greetings, pleasantries, that sort of thing. Just mark down on your character sheet that you have that for now. What that will enable you to do is if you're speaking with somebody who speaks Darkhanese, it will allow you to make that check to basically communicate, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I don't actually speak Darkhanese, without insulting them.
Please don't kill me.
Like, you've had the first week of your foreign language training. And yeah, the rest of you, just it's beyond you. The man, for his part, thanks you, though, for his... he rarely has the chance to exercise the language of the Fey folk, and he finds it quite beautiful. Not so troublesome as most of the people in the towns and the villages.
Well, where we're from, elves are extinct.
Would you happen to know why it's not spoken widely here, or the history of why it might have become frowned upon?
There are many histories, depending on who you ask. It sounds like you're asking for a tale. I could tell you one, if you have more gold.
A coin for a story, is that your game?
Do you offer to pay him?
How much do you want?
I'll offer him a silver.
A silver?
Give him a gold. I slap Victor in the back of the head.
Just glares in response to that.
So, you offer to pay him 1 silver?
Edmont, if you're talking, you're really quiet.
It sounds like Genie, or it sounds like, yeah, Genie actually gives him a gold instead of the silver.
Genie, you
Yeah, I
give
give him a gold. I give him a gold.
Okay. He tells you the tale. One of the regions in this world you found yourself in. One and only one is peopled by elves, but they're twisted by moonlight. That the stronger the moon becomes in the sky, and when he gestures to the sky, you see the moon is just a sliver, and it's very vague behind just the bank of haze. The stronger the moon becomes, so too their connection with their elvish history. And it waxes and wanes. And that is their torment. And then he pockets the gold.
Does he know anything about the frog people?
The bullywugs.
Bullywugs?
Sure.
Yeah, they're bullies. That sounds right.
I know to stay out of the forests if I can.
We
Well, we
think
kind
they're
of-
following us.
I mean, we know they're following us.
They attacked our group a while back and killed one of our number, and they've been chasing us ever since. We think they think that we were offering them something. Their god feels entitled to or something. What? I don't think I can actually talk to him, actually. I shouldn't be saying anything.
Oh yeah, you don't speak Elvish.
Niskin, Victor tells him to stop oversharing. You're going to scare this guy away thinking that we brought enemies to his doorstep.
He does know a tale of the bullywugs.
For gold.
Of course. He tells you no tradesman plies his craft for free.
What are your people? What is your people called? Like, you just have referred to them as your people.
Do you not have your people?
Yeah,
What are your people
we're called
called?
Ferniskins.
Ferniskins. Where is Ferniskia?
We'll trade you a tail for a tail.
No,
He
Where
thinks
is
on that
Fern-
for a moment. Are your tales old and true?
Yes.
Definitely true.
Truth is literally our name.
like, you don't speak Elvish,
Okay, fine.
but also don't tell people our names.
Stop oversharing.
We were literally told that like 20 minutes ago. Don't share people your names.
And very pointedly, the man has not offered you his name.
Yes.
Nor have we ours.
He regards Victor's offer for a moment. Then he makes some gestures with his hand, and he speaks some magic words. I need a charisma saving throw from all of you, which you can choose to fail as he casts Zone of Truth.
Oh, I'll fail it.
Yeah, Victor will fail.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he can understand anything I say, but I'll fail it.
Unless he does comprehend languages.
He might. I don't think he's cast it.
Is there any way to do to figure out what spell he just cast?
He casts Zone of Truth.
Okay, so we know.
You're going to tell him the story,
we know that one.
and he's going to judge whether it's true.
I mean, an Ekon will tell the creation myth of the spire and air.
Okay.
And we'll find out, science will finally prevail over mysticism here with Stone of Truth active.
And during the course of the story, he asks you many questions about the nature of air and the people that he created.
Yeah, and Ekon will answer all of them to the best of his knowledge, which should be pretty extensive.
I suppose
Make a
Plaid
religion
can fill
check.
in the blinks.
Plaid is letting you guys take the lead on this conversation.
Does Plaid speak Elven? Oh.
Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah, almost. That's just a 10.
10?
Yeah.
Can you, you know what? I will spend 2 blips for you to hit roll in this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Don't roll worse.
There we go. That's the 18 it fell
Well,
off.
you
So
can't
that's a
spend
22.
2 blips to let him reroll. You could spend 4 blips to give him an auto success.
Oh. I don't know if I love you that much, Destil.
Yeah, that's fine.
He tells you that tale is extraordinary to him because it's both true and false. So in exchange, I will tell you an extraordinary tale, one that is also true and false. That's fair, yes?
Yes, very much so.
He tells you the history of the land called Darkhan. How at first there were very new people arriving, settlers, some from far away, some from close by, some from the mountains, some from the valleys. And at first they built the newest cities, grandest ones, with the tallest buildings, the most infrastructure. And as the land got older, over time, only then did the ruins begin to appear. The old crumbling castles and keeps, the twisted underground labyrinths. And at the end, only at the end, will the oldest things of all arrive, and nature itself, the forests, the bogs, the rivers and rocks, will claim it all for their own.
Is that the name of this land? Darkhan.
It is, and it isn't.
Would you care to hear the tale of how we arrived here?
He tells you that he could tell that tale better than you can, but it will cost you a gold.
Ekon will give him a gold for that. That sounds interesting.
And he does. He tells you the story of a group of people who embarked on a boat to cross a lake. and found themselves embroiled in mists. Whereas Genie used the phrase for fog bank, this man uses the word for mists. And when they came on the other side, their boat was dashed upon the rocks in the shallow river. And they followed the river for a time, until they thought they had found sanctuary behind the walls. But the walls only looked new from a distance, and when they got close to them, found that they were very old indeed. But there they found a road, and in following the road, they found the forests. And in passing through the forests, and then he gives a bow at the end of the story, they found me.
Kind of tilts his head and scoots back a little bit.
I'd have included more meteorites, but yeah, that sounds right.
That's a very accurate tale for someone who wasn't there.
I mean, we told him. I told him what we did, what happened. It's like he asked, and I told him. So
Your story is fantastical to you, but I have heard it many, many times.
How does it usually end?
He considers that for a moment. Sometimes in blood. Sometimes worse. Sometimes it doesn't end at all.
So no, and they all lived peacefully for the rest of their days?
And at that, you hear the old woman saying something from inside the wagon. And he clasps his hands together. So I believe I will turn in for the night. If you wish on the morrow, I can take you as far as the fork.
We would appreciate that, yes. Would you mind if we slept outside your wagon?
And he tells you that the outdoors belongs to everyone, to all the people.
Did he ever tell us the name of his people?
He did not. Nor did he tell you his own name.
Because I did ask him that.
People here do not like to give out names.
Should we come up with new names for ourselves so we can communicate effectively without giving out our names?
And I guess I'll ask him that. He goes, one last question before you turn in for the night, if you don't mind. Why are people so reticent to give names here? Like I said, we've already told him the story of of what we did on the way here, so we were cautioned not to give our names.
There are magicians amongst your number, yes?
I'm a scientist.
And some of the magics you weave are done with words. Words that contain power. All of that power is derived from a name.
Pretty sure most of my power is derived from chemistry, but okay.
And with that, he bids you good night. So everyone can take a long rest tonight.
All of my power comes from air.
Well, that's the name it's derived from then.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that works. So we should not start giving out air's name, apparently.
Well, you already did to this guy.
Yeah.
Well, too late. Hindsight 2020.
Live and learn.
Okay, so do we actually want to give ourselves aliases?
Seems like it's the reasonable thing to do.
We can talk about that later, I guess.
Somewhere Florian is banging on a window screaming.
This is the world he was meant to be born into.
In some afterlife.
That's actually literally true.
Mm-hmm. That was his whole thing, man. He would have been the greatness campaign. Instead, he got stuck with the worst detective agency this side of the sigil.
Hey, we got results.
Get what you pay for. Her rates are real reasonable.
The check's cleared.
Okay. So everybody gets to eat tonight.
Everybody takes the benefits of a long rest. Evie and Ekon are still
Yep.
At 2 levels of exhaustion, but you're able to ride sitting on the back of the wagon. So you don't have to push yourself a 3rd day in a row. At the fork the next day, keeping in mind that he's arriving a day later than he should have.
Because he got the broken wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
You come across the small wagon train, the people that you saw scouting when you sent your familiar out. And they're small people. The patriarch of the family, for there seems to be a good dozen of them or so amongst the 6 wagons that are here. Two people driving the wagon. There are ponies pulling them. And some number of women and children as well. Entire family groups, a whole clan of them, truth be told. But none of them stand higher than maybe 3 feet off the ground. The men all have thick beards, and the women are all wearing long, frilly skirts. And you see the children poking their heads out from around the backs of the wagon, and they're regarding your large party with great interest. The man exchanges a few words with the patriarch, and then he comes back to you and says, I've made your acquaintance to the McGreers, and providing you do no harm, they've agreed to let you follow their train back to their village.
Very kind of you. You have our...
Very gracious of you.
And he nods, and then he goes about his trade with the McGreers. As they do, all of these little people filter out of the wagons and start to kind of circle around your group with great interest. And most of the people in your party are looking at you guys warily.
Victor is going to try out his new language skills.
So what's that gonna do?
No, go. Yeah, before the trader leaves, I would like to ask one other thing of him.
Okay.
Does he have a book worth 25 gold pieces and or any amount of valuable incense that I could purchase from him?
Incense? He'll sell you incense for 3 times the price of the PHB.
I'll buy a few of those.
Okay.
Does he have 50 gold of materials that could be used to make poisons? It doesn't have to actually be poisonous materials. It just needs to be materials that enterprising poisoner could use for that purpose. I guess there's no way for me to ask that question.
Probably not, because that wouldn't really be a trade good.
Yeah, the poisoner feat is very vague on what that actually is. It just says 50 gold of materials.
The problem is, if you were going to try to find materials amongst his goods that fit the bill, you'd probably have to ask him very directly about poisons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to spook him with that question
Okay.
like that.
So it takes a couple of hours as he and the McGreers barter back and forth, loading goods from his wagon onto theirs and theirs onto his. And during that time, those of you who can speak a few words of Darkhanese make instant friends amongst this group. The children particularly. You note that every boy child, and there's some small amount, maybe 3 or 4 boys, and maybe the same amount of little girls. Every boy child is carrying the same toy, a wooden horse with articulation at the joints. And every girl is carrying a similar toy, except hers is a little doll with cloth hair. The McGreer Patriarch, you guys, very quickly reach the limit of what your language skills will allow. And the McGreers don't speak anything else. But they're very polite, and they're very inquisitive.
Telepathic link.
That might freak them out.
I mean, while we
Was
got
one of the phrases we learned, can I talk to you via your mind?
No, strangely enough.
So Victor will try and sort of mime out what he wants to do as far as like pointing from his mouth to his head to the other guy's head.
And they don't understand what that means. They think it's funny though. Everything you guys do sends the children into reams of laughter and running back to their mother's skirts. So the men of this family are helping move the goods back and forth. The women are mostly staying aboard the wagons, but some of the women and children start grabbing at your clothes and hands. You and the other members of your party, especially Trieste and Donique, who were wearing dresses that probably were nice once, and kind of ushering them towards their wagon train.
I mean, we don't have prestidigitation, but I do have mending, so I could keep most of our clothes at least in good repair, if not clean.
Victor's going to try and find the guy that we talked to and ask him if he could ask these people if it's okay to.
Well, at this point, you'd have to interrupt his work if you're going to.
Okay, yeah, he'll wait till his work is done then.
And then, did he have a book I could buy, or just the incense?
He doesn't have any books that would be of use to you.
Okay.
So yeah, are you guys going to allow yourself to be dragged off to this wagon train?
Yeah. I think you should just go for it.
Yeah,
Victor. And this is the only time you'll ever hear me say this.
How are the rest of our party dealing with this?
I am going to go with Donique in Trieste.
I'm not gonna let Denny out of my sight.
Denny looks annoyed. Mm-hmm. Everyone else looks very tired and bedraggled and a little refreshed and maybe relieved at the sense that they're amongst people who they don't know them, but they're treating them with friendliness for once. This is literally the first group of people you've come across that haven't tried to kill you.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the wagons.
Coming up Millhouse.
One of the wagons doesn't have any trade goods or anything on it. Instead, as you approach it, you smell freshly baked bread. And there's a woman in the back of the wagon. And you see she's arranging it on a pallet. And when she sees how many of you there are, she furiously grabs more and more and more. And turns around. And lays it all out for you. And the people who are dragging you make it clear to you through your language barrier that you're welcome to eat your fill.
Oh, absolutely doing that.
Yeah.
Did we learn the phrase for how much?
Yeah, probably.
Victor will ask how much.
And you don't understand their answer, but roll an insight check.
That would be a 19.
19? Yeah, you don't understand the words of their answer, but the gist you get is that these are not people who would charge somebody who is obviously in need of aid.
Victor will thank them profusely and take some bread.
And the fresh bread is delicious. And the people invite some of you with the most weary and injured feet to come aboard the wagons when they depart. Others of the men are just walking alongside the train. And
kind of expected roll a Constitution saving throw to be the next words out of your mouth, Rick Road.
From what?
Eating the bread.
No, it's just delicious, freshly baked bread.
Yeah, it's going to be a charisma save. It's going to be cursed bread.
It's a little strange that they have the means to make bread on the road like this. It strikes you as odd that that would be a priority amongst... Because, I mean, if you were going to travel across Grand Fernisca, you wouldn't bring that. You wouldn't bring a big oven or anything along with you, even if you had wagons.
Well, these people are nomadic.
It also makes me odd these people have no size, so.
And is there any way I'm going to try and get across to them? I'm going to try. Well, I don't know any words, so
you could try to convey ideas via pantomime and stuff. You probably won't be successful, but you can give it a try.
Well, I want to ask, and I'm going to ask for a language lesson. Is what I'm going to ask for. To try and get that the basic level of well, I say basic level of competency, the basic level of incompetency that the rest of the party managed to get.
So all of the children, especially, are delighted to teach you little words here and there. But you mean they're vocabulary words. Like they point to a tree and say their word for tree. They point to each other and say their names, and they're delighted with peals of laughter if you share your names with any of them.
If anyone asks Evie her name, she tells them to call her Black Rabbit.
Do you have any way to convey to these people what Black Rabbit means? Like, you don't have a rabbit to point to.
She could put the 2 bunny ears behind her head.
They find that very amusing.
I thought they would.
You don't have like a house sigil or anything that has a rabbit on it?
We do have the rabbit that is our house sigil, but that might give them too much identifying information.
And then one of the young men from one of the wagons starts playing music on an accordion, and the whole group is whipped up into song and cheery dance.
Victor pulls out his flute.
Yeah, I'll take out my dulcimer if I think I can follow along after a verse.
Well, when they're done sharing their songs with us, we can share some of our songs with them.
And you find their song very easy to slide into. It's almost as if this language barrier between you and the McGreer folk is not really a barrier at all. As long as you're willing to share with them and they with you, everybody gets along. And after about 2 hours or so, after all the loading and unloading has been done, the stranger from the woods approaches you again. Bids you good luck. Farewell.
Before you leave, could you ask their permission to speak telepathically? Or teach me the phrase?
Oh, the stranger from the woods? Oh, right. The guy with the cart. Sorry.
Yeah, the guy with the one wagon and the old woman.
Victor asks the guy if he can teach him how to ask for permission to speak telepathically.
He tells you that if he were you, he would save that ability for other people that can weave magics. And to his knowledge, the McGreers can't. They're friendly, but they're a superstitious lot.
Understood.
Well, I'm going to, all right. So you're saying don't use magic around them at all?
He tells you have to act as you think best.
All right. Gotcha.
Don't freak them out, is what he's saying.
They are not a magical folk. And with that, the stranger disappears back into the woods. And you can see the woods far, far away from you. You can still see the tree lines down along the road. And to your eyes, it looks like mists are rising there amongst the trees that he's headed towards.
God damn it, we should have brought some trinkets.
We don't know how to use them.
Also, I don't know if they would get us home.
I also don't know unless they were selling snake oil.
Well, we're here now. Shall we have more bread?
Food was real enough.
Yep. I get the feeling that we'll meet somebody from him or his people again. Maybe we'll want trinkets then.
Indeed.
So it is your intention to travel along with the McGreers?
Do we have instructions on how to get to the nearest? Like, is it their village is the 7-day away place he was talking about?
It's about a week's journey to the north.
I think we just keep following the road.
Yeah, if you were to take this road north, you would come to their village.
But he said he said these people gave permission for us to accompany them, so
I think we just
accompany them.
So be
We
it.
don't have anywhere better to go.
Okay.
They have bread. And Victor will walk back to the little people.
And over the course of the next few days, you guys travel the road with the McGreers. You find the journey to be quite agreeable, very pleasant, good company, good food, all the way to the village itself.
Keeping an eye out for bullywugs the whole way.
Can we have our familiars kind of scout a little further out on the side as we travel?
You don't find anything of note, just wilderness. There are no more bullywugs that pop out at you at this point.
Are we no longer exhausted?
After a couple days travel, no, because you get to take a long rest every night. And in fact, it gets to the point where you've spent more time with the McGreers along the road than you have on your own coming down the river and trying to force where every step of the way was trudging and hard and
is there any way to make ourselves useful to them in exchange for? Are they feeding us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything we can do in exchange for that?
When you show the slightest bit of aptitude for any sort of work that could be helpful, they definitely put you to work.
Evie could help with clothes. She could mend the clothes for the children.
I mean, yeah, you spend a lot of your days sitting in one of the wagons with the women and the girls, men darning socks and sewing buttons back onto shirts and things. And everybody in your party, except for Donique, who is catatonic and not improving, and Denny. Denny is the only one who doesn't seem to be getting into the spirit of these friendly and hardworking little people.
Yeah, I don't let Denny out of my sight the entire time.
It's fair enough.
I guess I'm repairing pots and pans with my Tinker's kit if they've got any to be repaired.
Yeah,
So
there always seems to be work to do.
Question.
Do we pick up any more of the language?
What's Victor's question?
So with Victor's skill and sleight of hand, can you do like non-magical little magic tricks?
Like pulling coins out of ears and things?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Then he's going to entertain the children and teach them how to do basic magic.
They are delighted. So yeah, let's count up the days here. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 8 days travel. The rules in Xanathar's for gaining new skills can also be applied to languages. So everybody has 8 days worth of downtime they can apply to that. Those of you who passed that language check earlier can treat it as though you've had 9 days. If you give me a moment, I can try to find the exact page those rules are on.
How many days total do we need?
It's a number of weeks minus your intelligence modifier.
Intelligence modifier, yeah.
So, let me see.
I always have trouble finding these rules when I'm looking for them.
It's training. Receive training in a language or a tool takes 10 work weeks, reduced by your character's intelligence modifier. An intelligence penalty does not increase the time needed.
And we were figuring 5 days in a work week. Was that correct, Destil?
Yeah, that
Yes.
made the math simple for a lot of things.
Yeah, let's simplify it to 5 days in a work week, and you guys just got 8 days. And if you pass that prior check, you can treat it as 9 towards learning Darkonese.
9 out of 50.
Yeah.
And at the end of your journey, your whole party is well fed, in good spirits. There is some grieving now that you guys are out of immediate danger and you don't have to worry where your next meal is coming from, especially on Tenny's part for having lost Giannis. Like
Evie will try to comfort her because she's upset about that too.
Yeah, like you just now had the chance now that you can take a breath. So 10 work weeks is 50 days. Is that correct?
Yes, and I need 6 work weeks.
Okay.
So that's 30 days.
So everybody's going to want to do that calculus for themselves and figure out how many days your character will need to learn Darkonese. And then subtract 8 or 9 from that for this journey as you're going along. Because all of McGreer's people, they're all little chatterboxes. They tell stories, they sing songs, they love your songs that you sing. They love your strange and weird instruments.
I don't have a cello because that's what... I don't think that I would have kept the cello around for this long.
You still have your painting kit though, right?
I do.
They will love that. You've got to pay for them.
I mean, I don't know how much appreciated the League of Art because, I mean, when people in the podunk town were like, "Oh, art, okay, I can't plow a field with art. Screw you."
Edmont,
These people love everything.
I would like for you to paint a picture of these children at play, Edmont, and show it to them.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of paints. I make sketches, but that's about it.
So Edmund does not dip into his paint.
I don't really like.
Okay.
Victor tries very hard to convince Edmund to do some sketching or drawing or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I'll do like charcoal drawings and sketches and stuff.
And when you draw, it's again, especially the children. After the first one, all of the children demand to be drawn, one after the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Edmund does feel a little bit better after that.
They are infinitely interested in learning your language, like hearing stories, being shown things, like items, like things that you're carrying, especially musical instruments.
So Evie will play music for them every night with her violin.
And
She's not a great singer, but she can sing too.
At the end of the 8th day of travel, you start seeing the village in the distance.
This is a really cute little town, by the way. I like this.
The excitement amongst the group is at a greater height as they welcome you into the village, and for the first time since arriving through the mists, into a place of comfort.
We went the wrong damn way.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Did Brick Road...
We still got here.
No, Brick Road was over there just like, the entire time. We go...
Could have been worse. We could have said there's bullywugs in the swamp and turned south. Or in the forest.
We kept Demi alive.
You know what? If we had went this way, assuming that this river connects to this little thing right here, if we'd went this way, this would have been this, and this would have been this.
Yeah, you're probably right.
EM smoke and mirrors. I love it.
But yeah, so two things. A, if I'm not going to be overtly magical, and it sounds like I shouldn't be, the only way I can particularly help is that I'm trained in medicine. And when that fails me, I can maybe kind of try and cast a spell on the down low that doesn't sound like it's super needed.
Well,
and B, I am not letting Denny out of my sight for a second.
You have opportunities to practice medicine on the journey.
Okay.
Like when one of them trips and gets a bump or a scrape, like there's going to be minor injuries along the road. So
yeah, that'll be how Ekon can make himself useful then.
Yeah, if you demonstrate that skill again, it's like they're very appreciative. I'm going to go dark for 2 seconds to add up all the 100 experience you guys got from killing monsters. I've gone ahead and linked up the straw poll. And yeah, you guys go figure out your blips. I'm going to pretend like I'm doing experience math.
Okay, you do that.
I was going to write something down for creative and I forgot in the middle. Like I wrote down the word creative dash. And then I forgot to write down why. So who was the most creative?
What prompted it? Do you remember about what?
If I remembered that, I'd probably be able to fill it out.
The first half of the session or the second half?
Yeah, it was the first half. Before we ended up in the Cave of Misery.
The Shell of Misery. That would probably be... I don't know.
I don't know either.
I can't think of anything that was super creative.
This session can be described as we went in circles.
We did kind of go in circles. All right, who furthered the party's goals the most today?
Evie for suggesting following Lahir's song out of the Cave of Misery.
Okay.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told Lahir to sing.
No,
Yeah.
Victor told her to sing.
Oh.
But you were the one who said we should close our eyes and follow something.
Yeah.
Closing the eyes did seem to be the key for that. So that could be creative.
All right, then. Who was a badass today?
I think Edmont for turning
Edmont.
right back around to go save his brother.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was
Okay.
going to suggest. And let's see. So party goals would be. Actually, I say party goals for.
Victor.
No, I was going to say party goals for. Rick. Ekon for just walking up and fixing that man's
Yeah, that was pretty
tire.
good.
Just and then passing out.
Intangibles.
Victor for hold on. Victor for just general like
The only one that can talk to people.
yeah. Like it's just you're the
His
only
way of speaking to people is sometimes very intangible.
like the only thing like it's troublesome. It's problematic.
Listen, just because he thought about giving Tinny to the Bullywogs.
Wait,
All right.
what?
But
Who wants almost no experience?
I do.
Give me.
For 2 Bullywugs, everybody takes 8 experience points.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Hold on, I gotta get out calc.exe.
I think
Yeah.
I'd rather have nothing.
Well, fine. You get none. None XP.
What about for not getting eaten by the evil demon inside the conch shell? That scored something, right?
What about it?
We defeated it.
Did you?
Did we? It's still there.
Right.
We escaped from it.
We defeated it from its goal was to take one of us, and we defeated it.
We all walked out of there.
We defeated the broken wheel, too.
We saved that guy who was shooting at us.
Oh, you saw it familiar. You got that on the counter, right, Treble?
I'd have to go down and dig the counter up.
Okay.
I have a physical counter that I'm keeping. Hold on.
Oh, good.
Does he have like one of those little clickers like theme park attendants use?
No, I post it if you want to see what it is.
All right.
Anyway.
Who wants to make a case for some blips?
I can go.
Ekon.
I've got my alignment, lawful good, the shining words of air lay down a path for us all, for not being willing to hand over Lahire to the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to change my flaw, even though this is literally the first session it might have actually come up. My new flaw is going to be, I'm sure there has to be something good just over that next hill.
Okay. So I will make sure to put hills in every adventure.
I'm not going to be literal. But the other flaw didn't really work that well in Ravenloft, and this one, I think, if Ekon is always like, this has to get better, look over there,
One
it's
of the
just not going to be great.
Yeah, one of your NPCs has a similar flaw, I think. I think it's Abernathy. So that's it?
Yep.
All right, who else?
I could go.
Yeah.
Evie.
Oh, wait, I've got initiative.
Oh, yeah, for those 2 Bullywugs you kept track of.
Yep.
I heard Evie next.
Okay. So for her alignment, chaotic good, you mess with my family, you mess with me. For going back into the cave to save Ekon and Edmont.
Mm-hmm.
Chessmaster must move her pieces to the position of greatest advantage for being willing to go 7 days without eating to keep her family fed. And finally, her flaw, no one understands, because she knows that Ruby was behind all this, but everyone laughed, but she'll show them all.
Wow. I heard Edmont next.
I have my alignment lawful neutral. Take everything you can, give nothing back. For looking to see just how much we can get out of the traveler.
Do you think you got more than you gave him?
Of course
Oh
not.
no, he absolutely made better out on that deal. But you know what? It's we were negotiating from a position of very of weakness.
There was no negotiation.
Yeah.
This is very weak. Very weak.
But I have my ideal life as my canvas. I'll make my mark on it for making drawing sketches of the kids to delight and entertain.
Okay.
And I have my flaws. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you for turning right back around and going back into the Doomconk.
The Doomconk?
Yeah.
That's a good name. I like that.
All right, who's next?
Well, it's more like a Doom Nautilus, let's be honest.
The Doom Nautilus.
At least this one wasn't a spaceship. Genie.
Chaotic neutral, when in doubt, go with your gut. For walking up and... You know what? I'm not going to claim that one because I lost it.
Okay.
My medicine's starting to wear off. I'm a little feverish at the moment. So my idea, what would Nigel do for pulling Tinny aside and be like, listen, you know, you're a member of House Veritas. You got to act better than this. You know, stiff upper lip.
Okay.
And the video, and that's all I'm going to claim this week.
And Victor.
So for the alignment, ends justify the means. That would be being blindly, openly, and friendly to these little people because they offered salvation.
Mm-hmm.
For the ideals of seek the truth no matter the cost, that would be haphazardly, telepathically talking to the guy in the cave and the traitor. To try and get us some safety and information to find out what's going on.
Okay.
And for the flaws, the only thing I can kind of think of would be going into the Nautilus without really checking to see if it's safe and getting caught in that stupid trap.
What knowledge were you hoping to learn in there?
Just to find out what was at the top and the inside.
Hopefully food. The knowledge we were looking for was food.
I mean, Victor didn't know that the cave was dangerous before you went in it.
No, he did not. He just knew there might be something interesting at the top.
And Victor wasn't the one who was in a position to sacrifice somebody else to get out.
Yeah.
Who has the most creative solution to a problem this week?
That was... We just said this.
Did you say want to say Evie for telling people to close their eyes and walk blindly?
Right. Yeah, that seemed to be the key to making the charisma checks, to closing the eyes and walking. I don't know. The feedback on that wasn't super great, so you know what? We're gonna give Evie the win on that one.
And who furthered the party's goals the most?
That was Ekon for walking up and fixing that man's wheel.
Who was the badass?
That was Edmont for seeing that Ekon was not behind him, immediately turning around and just walking right back into the conch.
And one for intangibles.
That was Victor for always being the guy that speaks to everybody because he's the only one physically capable.
At least until you all learn the language.
Victor for existing.
Okay. I was checking the straw poll, but it's a three-way tie. So I'm refreshing to see if somebody else put... There it is. Somebody else just did. Ekon takes the straw poll this week. Blips are currently worth 250. Edmont, you had 6 and you just earned 4. So you can roll all those over.
You said 225, right?
250.
250. Okay. Yep.
Ekon, you have 2 and earned 4. Do you want to come in next week with 6?
Yep.
All right. Evie, you have 6 and earned 4.
Yep. Well,
Genie, you have 6 and earned 2.
How much? What?
You have 6 blips and you just earned 2.
Okay, 2.
3, did you get a video blip?
Yeah, video blip. 2 or 3? I claimed 2 and...
Okay. Just make sure.
No, I mean, I claimed 2 and
you're
then
right.
the video blip. Yeah.
I didn't mark your alignment. No, you didn't give me an alignment.
No, you're right. Well, no,
Oh.
Hold on.
You gave me what
Yeah,
would
no, it
Nigel
was just
do?
two.
two.
I make
It was
claims
just
to
two.
do.
Yeah. No, he's right. Brick
Okay.
Road's right.
Yes, always.
He must be super feverish.
Yeah, actually, very rarely. Victor, you had 6 and earned 3.
I'm gonna roll those over.
Okay, and when we come back next week, it will be a nice, uneventful session in the perfectly safe village of McGreer's folk.
They're gonna try to eat us, aren't they?
Yeah, they're gonna.
No, the
they're
frogs are gonna come and kill everyone.
At this point, we just don't have. I'm just gonna assume everybody eventually is gonna be a cannibal.